All right, everybody. So with the storm here, we decided to course close for safety. I'm going to go ahead and do a small little kids class, and for my adult grapplers, if you guys want to do this as well, you're more than welcome to. But this is mainly for the kids, just to give them something to work on when we're not in class. And I'm also going to work on something for people that kind of are struggling in their tests. I want to make sure we kind of cover something for that. And then last but not least, I'm going to go over the roles, because I've had a few people ask me about roles, whether it's for my jiu-jitsu program, my kickboxing program, or the kids program. So I want to make sure we cover all three of these things. All right, so let's look at the first thing. Let's just jump into the roles first. Let's get that knocked out of the way. I sit in this position here. I'm in this what we call three-point stance, or in jiu-jitsu sometimes called an S mount. And so I have one knee up, I have one knee down, and my feet are facing two different directions. One of the mistakes I see a lot of people making is they put their knees in the same direction. Don't do that, okay? Make sure your knees are sideways. Now, how we set this up from here is going to be personal preference. The way I like the best is what we call the digger version. So I want you to think of like some construction equipment. And so it's just going to come down, it's going to reach right under my foot, and it's going to be right there. Second hand, give me a mat slap on the floor. And what you're going to do is you're going to creepy crawly your hand until your knee touches the ground. If you notice at this point, my hand and my knee are almost the same position, or if not the same position, but this hand is still holding onto my foot. At this point, I move my ear away from that knee so I don't hurt myself. And at this, I'm going to push, but I'm pushing with this foot that I'm holding onto. And so I push, and I end in a position. So again, one foot facing my target, the other knee is facing a different direction. I'm looking where I'm going. Again, I'm going to shovel my hand under my foot, mat slap, creepy crawly your hand. And so again, you can see pretty much dead on now. At this point, I move my ear away, and I'm up, and I roll. And so that's your forward roll. When we're doing the backwards roll, it's almost identical. The only difference is, and if I face the camera, for the forward roll, again, my foot's facing the target, and I put only one arm on the inside. For the backwards roll, I'm allowed to grab the whole leg. I don't have to just reach on the inside. I can actually grab. And so, again, I'm going to move forward a little bit. Everything was the same as before. If this was me rolling that way, I'm just going to roll backwards now. So I grab, and now I'm just going to grab that gi pant or grab that shin bone. I'm going to pull that leg so my butt hits the floor, and I pull myself over. If I switch sides, again, grabbing that knee, I notice my foot is not lined up with that other leg because that's going to throw me off. It's perpendicular, and so I'm here, and when I simply pull, that butt hits the ground, and then I stabilize by coming up. And that's your backwards roll. Now, biggest mistake I saw on the testing, especially for the kids, is getting to the side mount position, that keisagatame or the scarf hold. And so when I'm taking side mount, I need you to remember to face the head, not face the feet. So if I take my gi top off really quick, and I lay this down on the floor, and so we know how this works. Head is here, arms, feet are this way. Everybody knows what that is. So when I take side mount or keisagatame, okay, I want to make sure I'm facing the head. I don't want to be facing the feet. I don't want to be facing this way. I want to face my target. So I'm here, elbows on the floor, as close to their neck as I can get it. Arm is already here, most likely across my body. I'm going to probably hold on to that tricep, or I'll connect my hands, make sure I have some kind of grip, or you can just kind of hug them and hold on to them. But this is side mount. This is keisagatame or side mount. Make sure your side is what's mounting on their chest. That's what's holding them down. Side mount, just like this. okay? Make sure you're facing the head. If I want what's called Kazura Keisugatame, that's when I come under the shoulder. Same concept, still facing the head, but this time I'm under that shoulder facing the head. This is Kazura Keis, or under the shoulder side mount. It seems longer to say, so we just say Kazura Keisugatame. If I face the feet, much like I did a second ago, but this time notice my elbow is over, so their head is here, their nose is pretty much in my armpit, and that's reverse side mount. But again, I'm holding the head down. If I am under the head, there's nothing keeping this person here. They could just crawl away. So I go over the head for reverse Keisugatame, reverse side mount. And then last but not least, you have where you go under the armpit, just like earlier. And this is that reverse Kazura Keisugatame. Reverse under the shoulder, or reverse under the arm. Okay, so this is over the shoulder, this is under the arm, okay? And this would be the last position I would talk about in this little section for us to be able to move around. Everybody's working on guard passing right now, whether it's in the kids class, whether it's in the adult class for grappling. We're all talking about guard passing. And so if I am in someone's closed guard, we kind of know that their body is here, and then what their hands are doing is going to be up to them, and then I'm going to be in control. So remember, everyone, there are 4 core elements or key attributes to passing the guard. The first, who can tell me what it is? Somebody put it in the comments. What's the first core element or core attribute? What about the second one? Somebody different put in number 2. Number 3, we talked about this last week. I wrote on the board and everything. Third attribute or element. And then finally you have number 4. So if you didn't know the answers, I'm going to give them to you. Don't cheat now and just put the answers in now that I'm giving them to you. Cheaters, don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, so the first core element is to have posture. If they're holding you down, breaking down your posture, you're never going to be able to pass the guard realistically. You're always going to be kind of stuck here. So I like to control the biceps and I get my posture. I'm up nice and straight. In sport jiu-jitsu, competition style jiu-jitsu, if you know there's no strikes that can ever be thrown and you trust the person is not going to punch you, you can grip the gi and push into their stomach, and then the other one's either going to hold it onto their belt or their gi pants right here, and you're going to be sitting up nice and straight. Notice my posture is even better. The reason I choose not to do this is what if they throw the punch? So I prefer to control the biceps. But that's the first core element or attribute, is to have posture. Second thing we got to do is we got to have control. In this current instance, since we're passing the closed guard, we have to have control of the hips. So I walk my hands down and I'm going to get a hold of their hips, whether it's I'm gripping the belt, whether I'm knuckling into the stomach because there's a no-gi event, whatever, but I'm pinning their hips to the ground. Okay? Pin the hips to the ground. Make sure they're locked in. That way, if I decide to do the duck walk or the push away or whatever I'm doing, I can now make sure they stay put and I get away. But if they're able to follow me, then I'm not going to get anywhere. All right? So that's the next thing, is to make sure their hips are pinned to the ground. Okay? Controlling the hips. Third element or third core thing to passing any guard, but we're working on closed guard. Remember it? Does anybody remember it? Okay, it's to create space. Once I've pinned the hips down, if I decide to elbow escape, I'm going to push their knees apart. I'm going to make their feet separate. I'm going to create what? Space. I'm going to have space between their feet. Or if I decide to do the duck walk, I duck walk my body away. I'm making sure they can't follow me, and now I have space. If you do if you're going to do the push away, you're going to run your knee under their butt, and you're going to be here. You're going to walk your hands down. You're going to push them away from you that way. So then they go farther away. You're creating space. So you see the point. Leg pass 1. I control, I post, I feed my arm in. I'm getting space. I'm breaking their feet apart by using this arm, creating space. And then finally, last but not least, we have the method of passing. So whether you do the elbow escape or the push away or the duck walk or whatever pass you choose to use, you're going to use a pass. Now, with the passing, there are 5 methods of passing, options. Okay? Again, we talked about this last week, we put on the board. Can anybody tell me what one of the methods of passing are? Okay, you have 5 choices. Remember, you can go over one leg, you can go under one leg, you can go over both legs, you can go under both legs, or you can what we call split them. Usually splitting them is going to be an attempt at a submission because you're going to try to separate the leg and kind of compress them, but it is an option. You can split the difference. So if you look at something like leg pass 1, is that over or under? And is that 1 or 2 legs? You tell me. Okay. What about duck walk? Is that over or under? Is that 1 or 2 legs? How about the side elbow opening or the elbow escape even? Elbow escape is pretty simple. And so again, is that over or under? And is that 1 or 2 legs? Think about it, break it down, look at the techniques when you're doing it. So if let's say I'm going to use the elbow escape. It's a perfect example. Okay. So the guy's got me wrapped up in here. I'm controlling the biceps. I'm going to walk my hands down and I'm going to pin their hips right here. Boom, I just got them controlled. Now, elbow escape. I'm going to dig my elbow in till I feel the feet pop apart. Once the feet pop, stop digging your elbow in. Nobody likes that. Okay, boom. Feet popped. I'm going to slide my palm to the knee. I'm going to push the knee down. I'm going to shovel that knee under my leg. I am now over their leg, and they can possibly put you in half guard. I expect the more senior students to do that automatically. That's fine. Now, this hand that I just passed the leg is going to reach across. I'm going to grip the collar. And I'm gripping the collar thumb in, not fingers in, thumb in. I can apply a little bit of pressure, and now I can push the other knee down, and then I crab walk over. At this point, I let go of that collar. Boom, I made it to the full mount. Okay, so was that over or under? Was that 1 or 2 legs? Put in the comments below. Tell me what you think. All right, that's the elbow escape. Really pretty simple. What about the duck walk? Okay, what about that one? Let's talk about it. Again, I'm here. I'm controlling the biceps. I walk my hands down to the belt, grab the belt or knuckles into the hip bones. I'm going to posture up a little bit more so their hips are locked. I waddle or I duck walk my knees away. Once I'm here, I don't move my feet. I just lift. Don't step. Just lift. From there, you're going to pick left or right. Notice my hands are still on their belt. I didn't move them. Knee drops, knee drops. Now I will let go. And I will be in the position of cross mount or cross body. Okay? Cross mount or cross body. Let's look at that one more time. So here I am. Hands on biceps. Walk it down. Pin the hips. Posture one extra time just because you really want to add pressure to those hip lines. And now walk your knees away. When you feel the feet break, you're good. Now at this point, you just lift your knees like a push-up almost. I'm up. And now I walk around, knees down, elbow down, elbow down. I now have a arm in front of me for like an American lock crank or a Kimura crank. So you get the idea. So again, is that over 1 or under 1? Is that over 2 or under 2? Or did I split them? Let me know. Put in the comments below. All right, third guard pass for today. This will be the last one of these I'm going to work on, especially on my little kind of weird dummy thing here I got going. But leg pass 1, my personal favorite guard pass. So here I am. I'm controlling the guy's biceps like always. And I'm going to just simply post one leg. When I post one leg, notice my other leg flares out too. It didn't stay where it was. It went out and it also went active toes. From here, I'm going to expand my chest to the ceiling. Hand on my chest. Snake your hand down and get between his guard and your leg. There should be a gap here. Please do not reach behind. You're going to get into an armbar or a triangle choke. Not very fun. So go right here. At this point, I lower myself so my shoulder and my knee are on that same height. Snake that arm underneath. And this is again going to come in to the collar, thumb in. And at this point, I'm going to get off of my knees And again, I'm walking around with all of my weight on the back of that thigh. And that's also cutting off the head a little bit until my knees can touch. This arm clears. And now this arm lets go. And that leg pass one probably doesn't look as cool on this guy as it would on a real person, but you know, you do what you gotta do. No partner drills and stuff like that. You can shrimp, you can crab walk, you can kick out, you can kick through, you can get up and base, you can do a lot of other things to make yourself better, to include all your calisthenics. If you go to your curriculum, at the bottom of every sheet is calisthenics, or your exercises, your fitness. Fitness pours directly into your martial arts training. If you can't do a push-up, your punching power is gonna be nothing. If you can't do a crunch, you're not gonna have the ab muscles to do some of these moves. It's gonna be harder to do the arm bar, or maybe you can't take the pain or the punishment of doing certain techniques. If you can't do a squat, you're gonna have weaker kicks. And all of those exercises are designed and tailored to make you a little bit more physically fit, but also to make training your martial arts better. And then also, I mean, think about it, sadly, if you get into a confrontation, and let's say there's no way to win, let's say it's 5-1, you're not gonna win. If you can't run either because you have no cardio, you're gonna be in trouble, you're gonna be in danger. Let's talk about leg pass one more time. So I'm here, again, controlling the biceps. I'm gonna post one leg, and I post it where they can't grab. I don't want him to snatch that foot. Like, no, 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 I want it back here where he can't grab it. Also, I don't want it out where it's gonna be hard to get my shoulder lower. So having it nice and high, a nice vertical leg is gonna be ideal. If it's a little out, not the end of the world, but the better you can make that happen, the better your guard pass is gonna be, okay? And so here, now what did I say? Open your chest up, make yourself really high. Because again, this punch can come in, okay? But the higher I am, I'm gonna be at the full extent of the arm. Also, there's not a lot of wind up because it's hitting the floor and then he's firing the punch. Anyway, from here, open chest, slide down, get into that little groove right there. Lower, 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 lower. Make sure the guard pops before you try the next piece. And now at this point, this hand's gonna swoop around. I'm not hugging the leg. I'm letting my body do the work. At this point, I get off my knees and I'm putting all my weight on the back of their thigh. They should be suffering, maybe pushing your shoulder so their knee is coming really close to their head. I'm only putting this knee down to talk and kind of demonstrate, otherwise I'm gonna fall over. But I would be here, putting all that weight down. You come all the way around until your knees can touch. Arm comes around the legs. I like to underhook that shoulder right away. And now I'll let that collar go. Or I might even try the choke, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. And then just for the coolness, this arm is sitting out here. There's your American lock. Figure 4 grip. Sit back a little bit, kind of snatch them into you, pull their whole body nice and tight. Figure 4 grip. And now space motorcycle your wrist. Look how high that arm comes up. And then get the submission. So there you have it, some basics. We went over how to move with a person. We talked about guard passing. When you guys are doing any of this stuff, and I'm going to jump into the other half of this now. And so if I had my gi on, I'm not going to put it back on and waste time on the video. But I do want you guys all to understand that when I am doing a technique, and this happened even yesterday when we had kids doing this, don't lay here like this. This is not what you want. And don't lay here like this either. I like to have one knee up. I don't necessarily have to have both knees up. I like to have my hands close to my face. And first thing I want to do is I want to get onto my side. This should be your starting point for a lot of your jiu-jitsu. Okay, if someone has that cross mount position, the position we just ended up on the gi, this is where I want to be. I don't want to be on my back. That's where that choke was, right? Remember that? And I want to be here. And so my hand can be in front of the neck and in the hip bone, or this hand can be under the armpit and this hand is in the hip bone. But either way, my frames or my hands in front of my body are framing, keeping them at bay a little bit. I don't want them to crush me and to push all their weight on me. And again, I used Jojo, for example. I had him on his side. I put all of my body weight on him and he could still tell you about what he had to do for the weekend. But when he was flat on his back and I put my weight on him, he was like, and they're basically just suffering. So you don't want that. You want to be on your side for 98% of your jiu-jitsu. Even in guard, if you talk to people like Professor Carlos Machado, or if you read the book Breathe by Hicks and Gracie, they also will say not to be flat on your back, but you should angle just to a little bit. You could still have your guard locked, but you're not here flat, you're here, just a little bit off your back. One butt cheek on the ground, not both. Okay? A little bit more work to do on that, but you get the idea. So I'm here like this, and now if my hands are here, if I'm going to shrimp away, active toes, I hip, and now I bring that in. And I forgot who I was rolling with the other day, but how do you keep doing that? And all I was doing was I was connecting my knee and my elbow for everything I was doing to that person. So as I shrimp, I just bring that knee to elbow. Now they can't crawl back into that space. And now I can bring that around. Okay? And so that's the idea. And again, I like to have the active toes thing going almost all the time. Practice makes permanent. And so if I practice active toes, I'm probably going to be good at it. Okay? So I'm here. And you can push with both feet if you want. Also, I'm not pushing with my heels because I can't get my hips up. Look at the difference, guys. If I'm here, I got my heels on the ground. That's as high as I can raise my hips. So, like, use the camera or whatever, make a mark right there. Boom, my knot on my belt is right here. Now, flat foot isn't much better. Active toes, I can get my hips way up. I can be way higher than the flat foot. And then the heels up. So use your active toes, guys. Make sure you're on your side and you're not on your back, and your active toes and you're ready to go. This allows me to hip escape this way or that way. I can go two directions. I can go that way, or I can even reverse shrimp. And I'll put a link to a shrimp video so you don't have to watch me do all 7 shrimps. Just click on another video and watch all the options. Well, there you guys have it. I went over the side mount stuff. I went over the forward roll and the backwards roll because I know some people are having some struggling with that. And then I also talked about passing the guard a little bit. But again, if you get stuck in someone's guard, you got to be able to pass it. So if you have a brother or sister or a mom or a dad or uncle or aunt or grandpa who's willing to work with you, have them put you in the guard. They don't have to give you 100% resistance, but they can give you the idea to work it. And then if you don't, you can always use, like I used my gi top as a makeshift dummy because I didn't have a dummy with me today. Cool? Awesome. Well, I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe. Don't get too wet in this rainstorm. All right. Bye.